How old are you? Not a very polite question, right? And that is why, when researchers do surveys, they will sometimes ask for a birth year instead of actual age. Asking people, "What year were you born?" may seem a little less threatening, thereby giving you more accurate data. But how do you convert the birth year to an actual age in IBM SPSS statistics? I am going to show you several options, including how to work with date variables. Plus, watch until the end, and I'm going to share with you two critically important bits of advice about asking for age on surveys. If all that you have is a birth year, like 1968, 1989, or 2001, then you can treat that birth year as an integer and use it in a formula. Here is the simplest way to do that. I am using the dataset ages.sav. This dataset has three variables: birth year, birth month, and birth date. In SPSS, go to Transform, Compute Variable. We will use the variable birth year. We want to create a new variable, abbreviated Approximate Age. Although age is probably self-explanatory, if you want to add a variable label, click on Type and Label, and then type Approximate Current Age, and click Continue. Assuming that you are watching this video in 2019, here is how you would create the formula. If you are watching this video in a year that is not 2019, I trust that you will know what year to use instead. I begin with the current year, 2019, minus the birth year variable. Now click OK. This will create a variable that subtracts each number in the birth year variable from 2019 and leaves me with the approximate age. I say approximate because this formula does not account for birth month. So if your birthday has not occurred yet, this formula would say that you are a year older than you actually are. Well, what if you want to get the actual age? If you have a date variable that has both the month and the year, then you can do it. This third variable, birth date, is a date variable that has been formatted to show both the month and the year of birth. Because we have more specific data, we can calculate the actual age, not just the approximate age. Go to Transform, Compute Variable. If there is already an analysis in the window, click Reset. We will create a new variable called age that we will label as actual age to distinguish it from the approximate age. You will notice that we have several categories of date-related functions, such as date arithmetic, date creation, and date extraction. For example, this function group, current date/time, calls the current date and time. When you select a function, such as $date, you can see the purpose of the function and any arguments needed to use that function. And we can use functions with other functions. So for example, we are going to do some date arithmetic using the function dateDiff. Double-click on dateDiff to move it into the numeric expressions box. We see that there are three question marks, indicating the arguments that we need. We need two dates and a unit in quotes. To calculate age, we want to subtract the person's birth date from the current date to get their actual current age in years. To get the current date, click on Current Date/Time. You may be tempted to use one of these date formulas, but the one that you should choose is $time. Double-click. For the second argument, we need the birth date. We simply double-click on the birth date variable, which has already been formatted as a date variable containing both the year and the month of birth. And finally, we need the argument years, which must be enclosed in quotes. But we could get age in months, days, weeks, hours, or seconds if we had sufficiently precise data on this participant. Click OK. And there we have the actual age. Remember that because this video uses the actual current date of the recording, your results will differ from what you see here, especially if this video is already a few years old. If you would like to dive deeper and learn how I created this small data set, you can sharpen your Microsoft Excel skills by learning a very handy technique for combining data in multiple cells. And, as if that was not enough, here is the critically important advice that I promised you about asking about age on surveys. These two ideas will improve your survey data results immensely. Number one, put the demographics at the end of the survey. Don't start the survey asking people how old they are. Put all of those questions at the end. That way, people will have become comfortable providing the information that you have asked for all along, and they are much more likely to tell you their personal demographics, such as their age. And number two, ask for actual age, not age bands. Age bands are the worst because they cannot be analyzed. But if you ask people their age or their birth year, then you can create age bands later, and you can still calculate the average age of your participants or use age as a scale variable.